What the duck is up, everyone? I told you I was going to do it. We were on TikTok live and someone entered the chat saying, what the duck is up? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to say that every episode now as an intro.
I can't remember his username. I'm kind of mad now.
I can't remember either.
Shit.
But shout out to you for giving us the idea.
He knows. He knows.
What the duck is up. And I'll tell you what's up. Well, first of all, welcome to Duck Takes. Obviously, I'm your co-host, Blake. Wait, no.
Yeah. Co-host Blake and your co-host Garrett.
Yeah. Still getting used to it. And today is a special episode because it is technically our 100th podcast episode. We started the channel before we started doing podcast episodes, but from the time that we started actually posting podcast episodes on Spotify and Apple and all that, this is the 100th podcast episode.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy, man. We're at the centennial.
Wow.
Wild.
Time flies.
It does.
Time flies.
3 years, man.
No.
Well,
no,
3 years
almost.
for
3 years for
since you first created the TikTok channel.
Yeah. But it's been like 2.5 years since we posted our first podcast episode.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in honor of that, I do have a little Prosecco. I didn't have any champagne on me. Actually, we used the champagne recently for another celebration.
We did.
I guess we could talk about that. We are going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con, actually.
Yes, we are.
Our first time being invited as like content creators. So, yeah, we're really excited for that.
Very freaking excited.
So we celebrated that. We're going to celebrate with some Prosecco.
Give me some of that, boy.
For our 100th episode. 100th episode special.
Champagne, sparkling wine. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Got to make sure it's even, right?
Yeah, always.
Pretty sure you have more because your glass is bigger. But I guess we're not going to talk about that.
Well, cheers. 100th episode. Here we go.
Sir. To 100 more right there.
Yeah. To 100 more.
Damn, crazy.
And so today's episode, we're going to be going over 100 of our favorite movies. Now,
this is a collective list.
So there's going to be some movies left off from me and some movies left off for him. But then there's a lot that are we both enjoy.
It is both in our favorite movies. So there's top 100.
Yes, top 100. There's a lot of movies on here that we both personally love and enjoy. And then there's a few of our favorites from me and from Garrett. So some movies on here that we list off, maybe more personal to Garrett or maybe more personal to me, but there is a lot on here that is collectively for the both of us.
Mm-hmm. And these are not ranked.
No,
this is no ranking of anything. Don't put that on us.
Yeah. But this is
just the top 100.
100 of our favorite movies.
Yes.
So before we start this episode, we got to give our ugly duckling of the week, which is going to be a new segment since the rebrand of Duck Takes, where we give you a movie that we think is either like underrated or underappreciated, didn't get great reception
when it came out, reception or anything. Yeah.
That we think should just get more love.
I'm gonna be so pissed if you pick what I'm thinking of.
That'd be crazy.
I doubt you will, but God, will I be pissed.
Okay, who goes first?
You go first.
Okay, so my ugly duckling of the week is Click.
Oh,
yeah.
The Adam Sandler movie. Okay. I feel like people like Click though, or no?
I think now people do, or at least maybe the kids who grew up with it are now giving it its flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, Click, it doesn't have great critical reception at all. It was a box office hit because it's Adam Sandler, but it doesn't have great critical reception because people just saw it as another Adam Sandler movie. But like that movie is way more sad than it needs to be, man.
Yeah.
I remember watching that as a kid, like getting emotionally fucked up from it.
Yeah.
It was sad. Yeah. So that's my ugly duckling. Click.
All right. My ugly duckling, I think you're going to be mad that I take this actually. Why? Babylon.
Oh, yeah, you bitch. Why'd you take that? You kidding me?
I don't know. I thought of it.
Damn.
But yeah, man, bro, Babylon. 57% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
7.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad, but dude, the 57% Rotten Tomatoes?
So that's like critic and audience too. It doesn't have a great audience score.
I know. I'm like, dude, honestly, it is a long movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do knock on long movies. They're like, oh my God, move on with the story. And
the opening sequence was pretty wild too, with like the elephant
I loved it. I thought it threw you into this world perfectly.
For sure. No, I love like the old Hollywood age storytelling. I loved the music in it. The music is fantastic.
The music is really good. Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the highlights.
One of my favorite Brad Pitt performances and Margot Robbie.
Performance. I know, dude, when she was up, when she was like trying to make a name for herself and like was showing her ability to like cry on the spot like that.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, holy shit. I was like, that was like some Mia Goth shit.
Yeah, it was. And
like to see that flip on a dime is just so impressive.
But a great performance by Diego Calva as well. I think all three of them could have been up for an Oscar nomination, in my opinion.
That Tobey Maguire part was a little weird, but I did love this movie.
I think it's a great love letter to like old age Hollywood.
Yeah,
and I was just fully into this world, this old Hollywood world that he had built, that Damien Chazelle built, and yeah, that movie bombed at the box office too. Absolutely bombed. Lost a lot of money.
Jeez, is this my ugly duckling or yours? What the fuck? No,
I think it could be both. All right.
But yeah, that's mine. Babylon.
All right, cool. There's the ugly ducklings for the week. Click for me and Babylon for Garrett, even though that's kind of mine too.
All right. You just want to go in the random ass order that we got on here?
We have a random ass orders.
Yeah, there is no...
So we're going to go through 100 of our favorite movies and, give you some quick reasons of why they are our favorites.
But there is no rhyme or reason to this list.
Not really. And we did have to cross some things off.
We did.
Because we kept thinking of other ones. All right. First one on the list. I think this is pretty obvious for the both of us.
Yeah.
It's The Dark Knight. Not much to really say about that.
Not much to say. I mean, Jesus, we've talked about it too much. I feel like everybody has talked about that movie too much, which I feel like is why people say that it's overrated, is because people talk about it too much, but it really is that good of a movie.
It is.
Not even just a superhero movie, but just a movie in general. Heath Ledger's Joker really does carry. I love Christian Bale's Batman, but he was not the star.
No, Heath Ledger was definitely the star, for sure. There was one summer where I think I watched this movie like once a week. No bullshit.
Jesus. You bought it, didn't you?
Well, remember we had the disc that was shaped like the Batman head?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And then, yeah, it was that DVD that I watched one summer. I think it was the summer after my freshman year of college. I came home that summer. And I think that's when my obsession for film like started to really kick in. And I watched The Dark Knight like once a week that summer.
Jesus.
Yeah. Still your favorite Batman movie?
Think so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Next up, we have Shawshank Redemption.
How could you not include that? Especially with Garrett. This is one of Garrett's favorites.
This is definitely one of mine, but we were introduced to this movie by our dad. Our dad will watch this movie all the time with us.
Yep.
And, just great performances from Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And
Tim Robbins.
Don't know why I was spacing on his name there.
Fantastic theme for the film composition as well.
Honestly, I think this was also the film that really got me into scores.
Okay.
The prison theme as they pull up to Shawshank for the first time and they're doing that overhead shot of the entire prison.
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful. So good.
All right. Next, we got Pulp Fiction. If you've been following this channel, you know that Quentin Tarantino is our favorite director.
Yep.
We love every single one of his movies. Pulp Fiction is...
That is our third best in our ranking that we did together.
For Quentin Tarantino.
For Quentin Tarantino, but I think I listed it first when we were going through this just because it's like his most iconic most memorable. It is considered up there like with the greats as far as like, the history books go. But yeah, Pulp Fiction has got to be on a list if we're talking about our top 100 movies.
And Pulp Fiction was my introduction to Tarantino. Then I saw Reservoir Dogs after that. But Pulp Fiction was first. And yeah, since then, I know it's a very film bro answer me, but Tarantino is definitely the director that really got me into wanting to learn more about film, behind the scenes of the filmmaking process, and really just all that goes into it. And I know it's a film bro answer, but you know what? That's me.
I mean, but, Tarantino really does just make a lot of movies that are like love letters to Hollywood and to different kinds of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty easy director to love.
Yeah. And you'll see some more Tarantinos on this list, but we're just going to in the exact order that we wrote this.
Yep. It's a random ass list.
Junk pile in. All right. Next on the list, Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. All right. This one was Something we would watch a lot as kids.
Yep.
Again, this was something our parents introduced us to. But I feel like we grew to love this film even more as we got older because we learned about the process that went into making it.
Some of it not the best process.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was more the technology stuff that caught my interest, but the snow was made of asbestos.
Yeah.
The treatment of our star, Dorothy, horrible off screen. They gave her a freaking eating disorder because they were so concerned about her figure and just pushed that shit into her brain. So a lot of dark past about The Wizard of Oz, but it is a timeless movie and a classic.
We did watch it a lot as kids.
We did watch it a lot.
We do actually have the VHS.
Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we got the VHS right here. Look at that, man. Love the Technicolor look of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a timeless movie. And I don't know about y'all, but those flying monkeys scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
You hold on to that. Every time we talk about Wizard of Oz, you bring that up.
I feel like that's a popular thing people talk about with Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys.
That and the costume design.
Costume design was great.
Yeah.
Wow, like
but they literally made the Cowardly Lion out of lion fur. And that thing was so hot and heavy.
It was like 100 pounds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dude, honestly, there was so much about the costumes that was so screwed up because the
Tin Man.
The Tin Man's face paint was fucking with him. Same with the witch. The witch's green paint caught on fire.
Oh, that's right.
And burned her face. So much dark history about the Wizard of Oz, man.
Terrible behind the scenes of this movie.
Yeah.
How do they make it work in the end?
I don't know.
All right, well, there you have it, Wizard of Oz.
God.
Next up.
The more I talk, the more I remembered.
Next up, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Another Tarantino on here.
I know we talked a lot about Tarantino movies on our Patreon episode of our Tarantino ranking, but we thought this was such an underrated Tarantino movie when it came out at the time. You know, it didn't really get the best reception. People were calling it Tarantino's worst film, but I see a lot of people coming around on this movie now, saying that it is even Tarantino's best. And I personally have loved it since it came out. There's a great story behind that of me being able to see this movie opening weekend in Westwood in LA,
which is where Margot Robbie's character was watching her own film in the movie.
Yeah,
so
where they filmed the whole ass scene in the exact theater I was watching this movie in, which was just a magical movie theater experience. And love Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth. Like Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio have great chemistry in this movie.
Bro, they stole the show in every scene that they were in. But who do you think outshined a little bit more? Well, I loved Brad Pitt's character.
I know,
in this.
and he did win the Oscar.
Yeah.
For Best Supporting Actor.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Leo DiCaprio offered the better performance.
Yeah.
Like especially when you think about that scene,
that trailer scene,
but also the scene of him acting on set.
Yeah,
for that one show.
I do love that scene a lot.
But both were great performances. Next, we got Kill Bill. You might see a couple Quentin Tarantino's here for the next few films. Kill Bill. This was another one that actually I was introduced to from Dad. I used to walk into the living room while he was watching this movie, specifically during the crazy 88 scene. And it would freak me out at the time because I was like 12 years old and all this exaggerated blood splatter.
And limbs getting chopped off.
Yeah, freaked me out. But then, come around a few years later when I was starting to get into Tarantino, I was like, oh yeah, I'm digging this.
God, for a kid that was so afraid of horror and anything blood, oh my gosh! And then now horror is his favorite genre. I don't get it, man.
I don't know. Scream shirt on.
I don't know what happened.
I think the best character that Tarantino's created with The Bride.
The Bride.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was in our top 10 Tarantino characters.
Not my top character.
Who'd you have at number one?
I think I had Hans Landa.
Hans Landa?
Yeah.
I had The Bride at number one. Just one of the most badass characters ever. And like we were talking about with Tarantino, gives us such badass female characters as well.
Yeah, he does.
Next, your personal favorite.
Django Unchained, baby.
Garrett's favorite movie since 2012, literally.
Yup.
And it hasn't changed.
It has not changed.
That's wild.
I know.
Props to you.
Either I'm loyal or ignorant, either one, but
because I've changed that answer quite a bit.
Yeah, you have. But Django, man, just absolutely stacked cast.
Yeah.
I think it's Tarantino's best. He's got Jamie Foxx, Kerry Washington, Christoph Waltz, Samuel L. Jackson, and Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
That's another one. He's becoming a bigger name lately.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I missed
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, just a starstruck cast.
So starstruck. And God, just what a freaking revenge story. Or not, honestly, not even a revenge story, just like a get back story. I mean, he was getting his wife back.
That's revenge.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was really revenge. He was just trying to save his wife. And Calvin Candy just happened to be the guy who bought her.
I think it's a revenge story. But also, like, that's what I do love about Django is that you got everything you wanted. You got revenge.
He kind of got his revenge on the Brittle Brothers. Yeah. I would say that was more revenge.
You got a revenge story in there. You got a love story.
Amazing music and soundtrack.
Great music, action, great action. It's just got everything you want in a movie.
And your excessive blood that you get out of a Tarantino movie. Love it, man.
Next, another great Tarantino, Inglourious Bastards. This is my personal favorite Tarantino movie.
This is my number 2. It's still up there, but
this is what I ranked as Tarantino's best movie. And again, the cast, amazing. Brad Pitt, his first appearance with Tarantino. Mm-hmm. Amazing character there.
Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Oh my God. You got BJ Novak from The Office in there.
Hans Landa, you got Christoph Waltz.
Hans Landa, Eli Roth in there. Oh man, I forget his name, but the guy who plays Frederick
Zoller.
Yeah. He's also Zemo.
Yeah, he's Zemo.
In the MCU.
I can't think of his name off top.
Greatest opening scene ever, in my opinion, for a movie, for Inglourious Bastards.
I agree.
That is just masterful writing, masterful acting. It's a perfect scene.
It is a perfect
scene. And what a way to start a movie.
Seriously.
Locked in.
Yeah, that got everybody ready to go for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Next movie on the list, first horror movie, Psycho. The original 1960 Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
This is one Blake forgot to write down when we were thinking of names. I was dang, how did you forget Psycho?
You know, Psycho I watched a few years ago for the first time, and I'd always heard about it. I knew it was Hitchcock. I enjoyed The Birds and all that. North by Northwest I love as well. But yeah, I watched, maybe I could add that on my personal list, North by Northwest. But yeah, Psycho, I watched it with Berto. It was late at night, like That's 1 a.m. we were watching it. And honestly, really captured my attention the whole time. Like a black and white, you know, because people do like to kind of shit on or sometimes not give the old movies enough credit, the credit they deserve. But this is an amazing movie.
Honestly, it's so annoying to me when people like won't watch old movies because they're like, oh, the camera quality's bad. It's black and white. I'm like, man,
the audio quality doesn't sound as good.
When you were watching TV back in the day, was it perfect quality every time? I'm like, nah, how about you just watch it, enjoy the story that they tell. And sometimes even like that camera quality, they would use that to their advantage when making old movies. I don't know. Like there's definitely a certain art to it.
There is, for sure. And I really enjoy watching older films and like their original aspect ratio because I think it just makes it more authentic to when they were filming it in that time period.
Yeah, just like we were talking about TV shows the other day. Like we think Trailer Park Boys and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, like those are two shows that we kind of wish they would have kept that older aspect ratio.
That 4:3 TV aspect ratio. That 4:3
TV aspect ratio just kind of felt more fitting, and
especially
like,
for the kind of shows they were.
Yes, it's not like a professional camera crew or something. Yeah. Like it looks like somebody's just holding a camcorder, and I don't know. It worked for what it was.
Not that we're saying that's what Psycho is, but like...
No, that's not Psycho at all, but we're just saying there are times where there's an advantage to it.
Right. Probably, you could argue the most iconic scene in a horror movie as well with that shower scene.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Jamie Lee Curtis's mom.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's her mom.
Damn, I did not know that.
Where do you think...
And then Jamie Lee Curtis got... all into horror.
Where do you think she gets the Scream Queen from as well?
Damn, well, her mom got traumatized.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
From that dude, I'm like pretty sure on this, but I'm pretty sure she got like traumatized from that shower scene.
Oh.
And was like afraid of taking baths for like years after that.
Oh, I could probably see it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like a horror thing in certain directors, like maybe Alfred Hitchcock, and I know Shelley Duvall. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. She just passed away recently.
What?
Yeah. But yeah, she got traumatized from
The Shining. The stairway scene where she kept chasing him away with the bat.
Insane.
Well, I mean, she did that scene like over 100 times.
It's insane. Probably the most iconic scene in a horror movie. And that's exactly what John Carpenter was looking for when he was making Halloween. He's like, well, we got a young and up and coming actor who's a daughter. of the Scream Queen from Psycho.
Yeah.
So that could work out. All right, next on the list. Ooh, first animated movie.
Into the Spider-Verse.
I fucking love Into the Spider-Verse.
Dude, it's so fucking good. I get chills every time I watch it. Every time the What's Up Danger scene comes on and he's rising to the occasion, but he's actually falling into the city. Fucking beautiful.
We went into this movie with no expectations as well.
Nope.
I remember we saw this in theaters together and it came out during Christmas time, I believe. And yeah, I had no expectations. I didn't know much about this movie. I just knew it was an animated Spider-Man movie. And I was just blown away by the animation, the story, the score, the voice acting.
So good.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And I do have that as the best Spider-Man movie in the Spider-Verse across all Spider-Man movies. And I do think it is better than Across the Spider-Verse.
Both animated and live action.
Yeah.
And dude, upon rethinking about it, I do think I like Into the Spider-Verse more. I think when I like it more. When I was saying Across the Spider-Verse is better, I think I was just hyped up from, the theater experience and, after waiting so long for this movie. But dude, I'm telling you, I don't get chills like anything else other than Into the Spider-Verse. And it's just such a good rising to the occasion story. And I fucking love it.
And for some reason, like I've said before, I feel like Miles Morales is a more relatable character to maybe this new generation of Spider-Man fans rather than Peter Parker. I don't know, it just feels more relatable in a way.
Nah, it does. And I do like seeing Peter Parker take like a mentor role. Right. I do like that.
I do too. All right, next movie we got Jaws. I love Jaws.
I know you love Jaws. It's sitting right behind your face right now.
You'll see a couple Spielberg on this list.
Absolutely. Can't do a top 100 without Spielberg being on there somewhere.
And it's summertime. Man, Jaws is the perfect summertime movie. It is a horror movie for those of you who don't think it is. There are jump scares in there too.
Bro.
Yeah.
I just rewatched it recently. That shit got me. I hadn't seen it in a long time.
The floating head.
You goddamn right that got me. Oh my God, bro. I was like, dude, there's a few times that shit got me. And even like when they would just like flash the shark real quick, I was like, that shit got me,
They
man.
have a kid bleeding in the water.
Yeah.
Like they're killing kids in this movie. This is a horror movie.
I agree.
Yeah, this is a horror movie.
Now, while this is definitely more of a Blake movie.
For sure.
That it is on this list. I do love Jaws, but Blake is definitely the reason this is on this list.
Iconic score, iconic shots in this movie. And in terms of like, when you want to talk about movies that might have had the biggest effect or impact on movie theater goers, Jaws is up there in conversation because no one was going in the water after this movie.
Dude, I feel like you didn't even have to see Jaws. You would just hear people talking about Jaws and, shark attacks and whatnot. And that will keep you out of the water.
One of the greatest summer blockbusters ever. But right after that on our list is our number one summer blockbuster of all time.
Jurassic Park, baby.
Jurassic Park, another Spielberg. And my God, when we talk about favorite movies of all time, I think this is like probably top 5 for me.
Top 5?
Top 5, easily top 10.
Okay.
Easily top 10. My favorite theme song of all time, I think this is the best movie theme of all time. It may not be the best score from top to bottom, but in terms of movie themes, Jurassic Park is number 1.
John Williams, man.
John Williams, the theme goat. And I get goosebumps, chills, tears every time. That first time we see the dinosaurs and the theme starts to play.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh my God, it is so good. Anything else about Jurassic Park?
They do move in herds.
Yes, they do. That's another one that's just been engraved since our childhood as well.
Yeah.
Engraved?
Ingrained.
Ingrained's the proper term.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow.
You'll see that movie on this list too.
Yeah, you will.
We'll get around to it. That was a quote. Next, we got Back to the Future.
Again, no, can't have a top 100 list without Back to the Future.
No, you can't. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, but Spielberg did produce it.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, an absolute staple in the sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
I don't think you can talk about science fiction without bringing this movie up. I mean, time travel it's such a basic concept. People talk about it all the time. You see it a lot in film, but the way they did it was just so special with this one. And it was just so interesting how they could keep the story going while never actually leaving their hometown. Like everything that happens is within this little town, but just like at different points in time.
But the story just feels so vast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, like the stakes are pretty low. The stakes are low. It's
How
not
the
like
stakes low. He's gonna fucking disappear.
No, yeah, stakes for him. Stakes for him are high. But I'm saying like, he's not going back in time to stop the president from doing this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's literally just his own little hometown story.
And he's got to figure out how to get back to his time.
Honestly, and I love that they stick with that instead of trying to make it this giant deal.
Okay.
Because it's like, we don't need some hero. It's like, somebody gets stuck in the past. They're going to want to try and get back to the future, Oh my God. I said it without even trying.
Wow.
I didn't even try. That just came out.
I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Definitely a staple of the 80s. Like when you talk about 80s movies, when someone brings up, oh, what's your go-to 80s movies? I feel like Back to the Future is always in the rotation.
Oh, yeah.
Like you don't think of the 80s without thinking of Back to the Future.
Smack middle, right in 1985.
Yeah.
Also, they talk about they say the year so many times that I feel like, people think of 80s movies. They're like, 1985.
Yeah.
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 I got to get back to 1985.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great performances, iconic characters.
So iconic it created Rick and Morty.
Wow.
That was the inspiration.
I bet. Next on this list, let's just talk about these next three as one. So the next three, we have Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So those are our three personal favorite when it comes to Star Wars films.
Mm-hmm.
For our number one, it is Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
For sure. I mean, Anakin, Obi-Wan,
Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen,
Battle of Heroes.
You got Yoda
versus Palpatine.
Yeah. You got the Yoda fights. It's oh my God.
John Williams score once again.
So good.
So good.
And there might be some cheesy writing in there, but I don't give a fuck. I love Revenge of the Sith to death.
Anakin's Dark Deeds.
Oh,
Anakin's Betrayal, Order 66.
So good.
Oh, it's so good.
The score is amazing.
It really is.
And then when you have, Clone Wars and other shit to play off of that, and you go and you watch this movie, like you love it that much more.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Empire Strikes Back, one of the greatest, possibly the greatest twist of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I know we knew about it since,
it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Never got to experience that giant plot twist.
Right.
But
man, imagine being in the theaters during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And Darth Vader, greatest villain of all time too.
Seriously.
Next, and Return of the Jedi. I think it's a little bit too much hate, but I love Return of the Jedi. I think it's one of the more fun Star Wars movies. I love Luke's green lightsaber. I think it also has the best Luke versus Vader battle. I know the Empire Strikes Back battle's always talked about, that fight scene.
I like the Return of the Jedi one better.
I feel like it's a lot more emotions in that one.
Mm-hmm. A lot more emotion. I think like aren't his like acrobatics better, if I remember correctly? Like, I don't know. It seems like, yeah. Obviously Luke, not Vader. He's a fucking giant robot.
Yeah.
But because in Empire Strikes Back, I just remember it being a lot more like sword fighting.
Yeah.
It was very similar to that, but they got a little bit more creative in Return of the Jedi. And you do get a lot of more emotion out of Luke and
great camera shots in there too during that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our three Star Wars that we have on this list. We didn't want to get list too many from franchises on here.
Yeah.
So those are three that we chose from. Next on this list, first Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show.
Truman Show, baby. Oh my God.
What a concept that movie is.
It really is so good.
It is.
It's so good. And Jim Carrey,
because it was a book, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
One. But
what a concept in general.
And Jim Carrey, such an underrated, serious actor. I mean, people love him for his comedy, but I think Truman Show is a perfect example of how he can be comedic, but at the same time, he was he created this eerie feeling that something was wrong.
Right. Yes. I think Jim Carrey is definitely, in terms of all around actors, very underrated. I think when you talk about the greatest actors of all time, I do believe Jim Carrey needs to be in that conversation, because it is just as hard to be as great of a comedic actor as he is, on top of being a dramatic actor. Like his mannerisms in his comedy movies,
facial expressions
can't be replicated.
No,
he's one of a kind. And Truman Show is easily one of his best movies.
Like, bro, people got creeped out when they met him in person after Grinch, and he would do the Grinch smile.
Oh yeah,
and they were like, I thought that was fake. Like, I thought that was like,
No, yeah,
he was like, they were all like, I thought that was like prosthetics. I didn't know you could actually do that.
his mannerisms are insane.
Yeah.
Next up, No Country for Old Men. This is more of a Garrett movie.
Yeah.
I do love this movie. But
yeah. But I mean, dude, it's just it's so iconic.
it is.
I mean, you got Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin. I love Josh Brolin's character in this.
I do too. And Javier Bardem gives a great performance.
As a dude, he plays the perfect psychopath.
Yeah.
Like the perfect psychopath.
Mhm.
And that was somebody that I genuinely did not know what their next action was going to be, which I find terrifying. Honestly, it's like kind of what I used to find so terrifying about Homelander's character in The Boys. He definitely gave me that same exact kind of vibes, but obviously just like a lot more creepy. But there was a lot of moving pieces in this story as well that all just like kind of came together in the end. So yeah, No Country for Old Men.
All right, next up.
Next up, we have Wolf of Wall Street.
Not the last Scorsese movie you'll see on here too.
Nope.
But we do love Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street is hilarious.
It is so funny.
It is. I think it's Scorsese's funniest movie. And while I don't mind that Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar for his performance in Dallas Buyers Club for this, I also wouldn't have minded if Leo DiCaprio won his Oscar as Jordan Belfort in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he definitely deserved an Oscar well before his performance in The Revenant. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, fantastic. The chemistry between him and Jonah Hill was amazing as well. And this was just like a 3-hour movie of like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, just this crazy ass lifestyle that you will only see from the crazy, extremely powerful and rich.
I feel like a lot of people tried to live vicariously through this movie.
Dude, seriously. Because to be honest, people were getting pissed about that. I feel like that's why this movie got so much hate.
Right.
Is because they were glamorizing this lifestyle of somebody who cheated and, stole money to get where he was. But it's like, how can you hate the guy? Man's just living life to the fucking fullest. Like, my God, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Everybody wishes they could do that.
Fantastic performances all around. Next up.
Hey, can't forget Margot Robbie, bro.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
That's my introduction to Margot.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet Margot. The Duchess.
The Duchess.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. Everyone found a new crush, celebrity crush after Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you damn right. Next up first.
The Duchess of Bay Ridge. That was it.
Duchess of Bay Ridge.
Yeah.
Next up first, Nolan on this list. Oppenheimer, baby.
Oppenheimer. That's not first. Nolan.
Oh, you're right.
We started with Nolan,
We started
man.
with Nolan. I forgot about that. All right. Anyways, Oppenheimer. One of the more newer movies on this list coming out last year. Barbenheimer.
All right, let's leave Barbie out of it.
Well, yeah, Barbie's not on this list, but this is my number one Nolan.
This is your number one Nolan.
This is my number one
Over the
Nolan.
Dark Knight.
Over the Dark Knight, and I do also have one more Over the Dark Knight that's next on this list. I always go back and forth between
I know it
between Oppenheimer and our next movie, between what's the best Nolan movie.
Yeah.
It's like 1A, 1B to me, but I fucking love everything about Oppenheimer, and I'm so happy it won as many awards as it did.
It's a great biopic.
The music is one of the best scores I've ever heard.
Score is fucking fantastic.
Ludwig.
Cinematography, incredible.
Hoyt van Hoytema. Yeah. Everything about this movie. The performances, Cillian Murphy.
Dude, and the sound effects.
Yeah.
The sound effects work was crazy on this, which, it's a story about the creation of the nuclear bomb. It has to be.
And no CGI too.
And no CGI. Christopher Nolan, he does not like CGI.
But next is Interstellar, which I do have that as the number 2 Nolan movie for me. And you want to talk about film scores. Man, there's just something about Nolan movies and film scores. Now, Hans did this one.
Yeah.
Hans was his, right-hand man for a minute.
I think he was trying to get him for Oppenheimer, right? Until he found out he couldn't do it, or
well, he was making the Dune movies.
Yeah.
So he had his hands busy, which I'm glad he did the Dune movies. But yeah, Interstellar, man, I got to watch this in theaters recently for the first time, because I'd seen it, but I never got to see it in theaters. Like, I didn't see it when it came out in 2014. And seeing it in theaters just elevated my soul above my body. Like, I felt like I was watching myself watching this movie, and the score was so fucking fantastic.
What, like McConaughey watching himself?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Don't let me leave, Mert.
A lot of memes came out of that movie somehow too.
Yeah, there is.
That's shocking. Next on this list, this is definitely a me movie. Halloween, my favorite horror movie of all time. My favorite slasher. This is the film that got me into the horror genre. You knew Halloween was going to be on this list.
Yeah, well, duh.
Fucking love John Carpenter. He's definitely my top 2 favorite horror directors. And just this whole franchise in general is a vibe. Like, I know there's not so great movies in this franchise, but I try to watch all these movies in this franchise every year because it's such a vibe. Goated horror movie to me. Next on this list.
Next, we have Candyman.
Candyman. I told you to watch Candyman.
You did.
You really liked it.
I did like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was a very different horror villain.
Yeah. Different setting.
Different setting. The special effects and the bees were just the creepiest shit to me.
And those were real.
I know.
All in his mouth and shit.
I think he had it in his contract that he got paid for every sting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Like the lore of it is really cool.
It is really cool. And like you say it 5 times in the mirror. I think, I don't know why, but it just like hits better than Bloody Mary.
God, that scared me as a kid.
Bloody Mary?
Yes. Don't say it again, bro. No. Yeah, no, I love Candyman, and what a performance by Tony Todd as well. Chilling performance.
Got that voice.
Yeah, man. That voice.
All right, next up we got Get Out, which is actually one of your favorite horror movies.
Yeah, directorial debut of Jordan Peele.
I still think it's his best. Yes. I don't think he has yet to top it. I think Nope is a close second. I do like Nope a lot.
I do like Nope a lot.
But I think Get Out still holds that top spot.
I remember when when Get Out came out, I think I watched that movie like 10 times in 1 year because it was always on the movie channels and I'd just be scrolling them, and if it's on, I'm going to watch it. And so I've seen Get Out a lot.
It's so good.
It really is. Next. Ooh, that's a good one. Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller, baby.
I just watched this one recently.
Oh, for the first time?
Yeah, because I was preparing for Furiosa, and it was like one of those movies that I just had never gotten to, but damn, am I glad I gave it a watch. That shit was so good.
Non-stop action. Action is fantastic. The stunts, if you see like behind the scenes of this movie, it is insane what they did for this film.
I know.
Absolutely insane. I think this is my favorite Tom Hardy performance.
Really?
I think so. Even though he doesn't say much, I like his mannerisms. His small little mannerisms are so interesting to me.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it works very well for this movie. I mean, he couldn't even talk for the first part of it because he had the thing on his mouth. But
so I think that's very impressive, and like what an interesting world that this is set in as well.
Yeah.
Fucking love Fury Road. So there's our first leg of the list that we've gone through so far.
We might go a little bit more rapid fire now.
We might, because this is going to be a long one.
Yeah. But however, I will say those ones are the first one that came to our heads. So it's like, I feel like there is a lot to talk about with those. Not that there's not a lot to talk about with the rest, but we'll go a little more rapid fire. But next up we have Toy Story 2.
This is my favorite Pixar or favorite Toy Story movie.
Yes.
My third favorite Pixar movie. I think Toy Story 2 is one of the best sequels. I love it.
It is really good. And I did rewatch this one again.
Oh, you did?
This is another one I rewatched recently because I just hadn't seen it in so long.
Right?
It is good. It is good, but I'm not going to lie. I think...
you think Toy Story 3 is better?
I think I like Lotso as a villain better, man. I just like Lotso.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I love Toy Story 3. Next is...
She don't love you no more. Oh, come on.
Actually, the next 3 are Pixar movies. So we have Monsters, Inc., which is my number 1. No, my number 2 Pixar movie. One of the most saddest scenes of all time in a Pixar movie when Sully is saying goodbye to Boo.
Yeah.
Kitty. Dude, when we did our Pixar episode, I went and watched that scene on YouTube like 3 times and bawled my eyes out.
You are such a baby. Oh my God.
The music's so good.
Jesus.
Next,
Finding Nemo. That one is also definitely more of a you.
It is. That's my number 1 Pixar movie.
Yep.
And when we talk about saddest scenes in all of Pixar, I know a lot of people like to bring up the opening scene in Up, but man, that opening scene of Finding Nemo,
pretty heart crushing.
It is. When he loses everyone, shit.
My God, all he had was Nemo with his busted flipper.
Next is your number 1 Pixar movie.
Yep, I got The Incredibles up there. That one is just, dude. I think it's such a good original superhero movie that isn't Marvel or DC or anything like that. Like we just start with fresh characters, which I loved. And I thought it was I think it's a very interesting world where, you know, superheroes are persecuted against, which isn't something you see very common unless it's like X-Men.
Right. But even in that X-Men world, there are superheroes that are like legal and everything.
Yeah, no, I agreed. It's like, you know, all supers are illegal in this. Yeah. And you know, seeing Bob get his legs underneath him again and get back into superhero work, he was loving that shit. But I will say, I think my favorite character on there is probably Dash. I love Dash.
Really?
Especially that water running scene. Fucking love it.
Yeah. No, it's a great family superhero movie.
Yeah, it is.
Next, we have The Shining.
Now, this is definitely for both of us because we both love The Shining.
I think we each have the DVD, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, the 4K of it.
Uh-huh.
Is this the first? Yeah, I think this is first Kubrick on this list so far. Won't be the last Kubrick, though.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were talking about earlier with that
Shelley Duvall shit. Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. And yeah, having to do that take, like, I don't know the exact number, but I think it was like 100-something times.
Wild.
Like, who does that? Like, Kubrick, amazing director, one of the best of all time, but that is just insane.
Dude,
like,
I think he did it. I think he did it that many times to get her like genuinely feared reaction. I mean, Jesus,
she was losing hair from this movie.
Oh my God. Probably never wanted to work with him ever again. Right. But I mean, Jesus, he gave us a pretty good masterpiece out of it.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson, amazing performance.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest. One of the most iconic characters with Jack Torrance, and one of the most iconic lines with "Here's Johnny."
Oh yeah,
and the score is fantastic. I think it's an underrated horror score. That theme is so eerie. Like it's not so much like fast paced moving. There's not a whole lot of different instruments going on.
It's unsettling.
It is unsettling. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite moments in life was getting to see the Overlook Hotel in real life out in Oregon. Yeah. And we were driving up the mountain and I played the Shining theme as we were driving up that mountain.
You corny bitch.
Yeah, it was great.
All right. Dang, we got a lot of Blake hits in this little list right here. Next, we have La La Land.
This is my favorite movie of all time.
Yes, it is.
This is my favorite movie of all time. And that was kind of a recent epiphany. You know, everyone would always ask, what's your favorite movie of all time? And like, I never had a specific answer, like one movie where I'm like, yes, that's my favorite movie of all time. But it was funny because over the years, when people would ask me that question, the first thing that would come to my head is, I love La La Land. Like, I don't know why. That was the first thing that would come to my head. And then I think a year or two ago, no, it was like a year ago, because it'd always been in my top 5. But then a year ago, I was like, you know what? I'm doubling down on it. This is my favorite movie of all time. And I think it's a perfect movie. I think it's a masterpiece. My favorite Damien Chazelle. And I think it gives us some of the most relatable and greatest characters with Mia and Sebastian, and amazing chemistry between Emma Stone and Mia Goth. Emma Stone. I was thinking of Mia, the character.
Yeah.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling.
Good Lord. All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Star of La La Land, Mia Goth. Next up, we have Full Metal Jacket. Now,
second Kubrick.
Dude, honestly, I find this one so unique because it almost feels like it's two entirely different movies. Like in that first act,
right,
and moving on into the war zone, just totally separate from each other. Mm-hmm. And you know, like our main character who is getting like bullied and ridiculed against the entire time, not even a part of the second act of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know why.
Well, no shit, but yeah, that boot camp training was just fucking brutal.
You know, it's funny. When I was young, I saw that scene, I think just scrolling, like I was just scrolling through movies one day, and I think I was just like landing upon that first half of Full Metal Jacket, because I think the first time I watched Full Metal Jacket, I'd only seen the boot camp scenes.
Yeah.
And then I watched the full, like when I went and rewatched the full movie later. But honestly, I think it's because I was just really put off by that scene when he offs himself. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Or how do you say his last name?
Kingpin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Kingpin. Y'all know him as Kingpin. But yeah, what a chilling performance that was as well.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that is what sticks out the most to me in this movie was his performance. But next we have Shrek 1 and Shrek 2.
Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. Personally, I like Shrek 2 better.
Yeah, dude, honestly, the references in Shrek 2 are fucking hilarious.
And they work so well, too.
They do. Like, they made it work so well in their fairy tale world. It was hilarious.
Like, sometimes when movies try to make those meta references in a whole ass different time period, it could be a little corny.
Yeah.
But like,
dude, theirs were so funny.
It works so well in Shrek 2.
The pepper with pepper spray. The
white Bronco.
The white Bronco. That shit was hilarious.
Catnip.
And oh my God, there was some. I don't know why, but they had Donkey screaming police brutality.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Whoever made that movie was not a fan of the police.
No, Shrek 2 was fantastic.
And then Shrek 1, obviously you got the same stuff that you love in Shrek 2, but just the original.
Well, and you had told me recently that, and I didn't know this, but animators were getting Shrek. It was apparently a punishment to be put on Shrek.
Yeah, if you weren't meeting your standards in DreamWorks, they would put you on Shrek. Shrek was your punishment. For some reason, that they thought this wasn't going to be a success at all. But by the time they were done with production, fucking became a hit and won so many awards that year.
It was the first animated movie to win an Oscar in the Best Animated Movie category at the Oscars, because they had never done that category before, and this was the first year, and Shrek was the first one to win. But also, the first Shrek went through trials and tribulations as well, because Chris Farley was supposed to voice Shrek.
Yep, and then they had
and then he passed away.
They had Mike Myers come in and totally redo the whole thing.
Had to redo the whole thing. They were almost done, and they redid the whole thing. Next up, another animated movie, Disney.
Yeah, I know we were kind of going through our animated movies here, but
Lion
Disney,
King.
Lion King, the original Lion King, obviously.
Yeah, the original one. I did rewatch this one recently, and you start to realize that the older Disney and Pixar movies, they were not made just for kids, man. This, oh my God. When Simba is trying to get Mufasa to get up after that stampede, dude, I bawled like a baby.
Let's not make Blake cry on camera. My God.
No, I'm good.
If he talks about it more, he might.
One of the first Hans Zimmer score to get some recognition. I know he also did Rain Man, which I think got nominated. But
plus you got James Earl Jones voicing Mufasa.
And one of the only 3 animated movies to be nominated for Best Picture.
Wild.
Which is kind of crazy.
Great. Yeah, just great musical score overall. And musicals in the movie.
Yeah. Great animated movie. Great summer blockbuster.
Love it. All right.
Jeremy Irons.
Next. Yeah, no, it's funny that he didn't actually sing that. That voice actor for him didn't sing it was a different voice actor. Okay. Next we have Forrest Gump. I advocated for this one being on here.
While I do like Forrest Gump, I definitely think there are movies that I could put on this list over Forrest Gump.
I don't know what, but I don't know, man. I think Forrest Gump is too classic and too recognizable of a movie to not have it in the top 100.
Maybe you watch this one more than me.
Probably. But I feel like Tom Hanks has a lot of classics out there. It's and if you're not a fan of one, I feel like you're a fan of another, because I feel like Tom Hanks just has a niche with everybody with all of his movies that he's done over the years. And Jenny's a bitch, but Forrest is just a loving, kind person who doesn't see the sins of the world and just lives this fantastic life because things kind of just kept coming his way. But I don't know, man. I love the time period that it's in. We get a little bit of
you get a little history lesson.
Yeah, a little history lessons in there.
You also get to hear Fortune of the Sun for the 1000th time.
Oh yeah. Never miss out on that in a war movie.
Yeah. Next up, another Damien Chazelle classic,
Whiplash, baby.
Wow.
Had to be on here.
Oh, 100%, man. Whiplash and La La Land, how do you go back to back like that?
So good.
How do you give us Whiplash and then give us La La Land, bro?
It's so good.
J.K. Simmons, that's one of my favorite performances ever.
I think that might be my favorite performance.
Really?
Yeah. We got that. We got J. Jonah Jameson, and then we got him as Omni-Man.
You mean of his performances?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about ever. One of my favorite performances ever. I'm saying just one of.
I get you.
One of. But from J.K. Simmons himself.
Yeah.
Man, he
does
have
so many great roles.
He really does.
I mean, the first 3 that come to mind are his voice acting role of Omni-Man, J. Jonah Jameson, and then him in Whiplash.
Yes. Fantastic movie. It was a short film, actually, turned into a feature film. my introduction to Miles Teller.
Yeah.
No, I think I knew Miles. I think I saw a few more Miles Teller movies before.
I don't know. I feel like he played a background character in a lot of stuff, or like a quick side character.
And I think you saw Fantastic Four in 2015, the new one. So
yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, there was a few. I think. Oh no, my introduction to Miles Teller was Project X.
Oh yeah,
you remember that?
That
was my introduction.
But dude, I will never understand the Miles Teller hate.
I won't either.
I've always thought he does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You know, as long as he's got good lines.
I really like Miles Teller. Next,
you can say it.
Friday.
Yeah.
Classic for me, man. My introduction to, I don't know if I watched Rush Hour first or Friday, so I'm not sure which one was my introduction to Chris Tucker, but as you're going to tell from this list, like I absolutely love Chris Tucker. He's one of my favorite comedic actors.
One of the biggest fall-offs, man. Just disappeared.
Damn taxes, bro.
Yeah.
IRS.
Yeah.
I catch up to you. But no, him and Dave Chappelle just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
I think it was just that Hollywood thing, man. They want to get away from it.
I love Dave Chappelle's story. He told about seeing him and Chris Tucker at a party. It was like seeing a unicorn.
Yeah. But I love Friday. Great weed movie.
Yeah.
A great stoner movie. The iconic characters of Craig and Smokey.
Yeah.
You get amazing performance by John Witherspoon, like a great comedic performance, but also John Witherspoon. There is a lot of endearing and touching moments in Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is just such a rewatchable movie. Next, you can say this one.
Next we got Schindler's List. This is one of my
pretty sad movie, Garrett.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know what it is. I think I'm like a sucker for World War II films. It's just,
they're interesting.
Yeah, they are interesting, and you know, it's just like almost unfathomable the things that did occur during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing those things getting put to screen like always just kind of reminds me what humanity's capable of, and it is really depressing. But you know, I feel like it's just stories that need to be told, and Liam Neeson's performance was amazing as well. And I mean, not much more to say about it. Like it is just like a classic film.
Here's what I'll say. Absolutely diabolical that Spielberg had this and Jurassic Park come out in the same fucking year.
Dude, I know. He literally should have just held one and been like, I'll win 2 years in a row. Like,
yeah, because he couldn't be up for both, I think. Or like, I think both were up for Best Picture, but he won. Schindler's List won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. It's just
damn, but even if you waited till 94 was a stacked year too.
94 was a stacked year. Wow. Yeah. So yeah. Insane that he had both of those movies come out in the same year. Next, Gladiator. This is actually our dad's favorite movie of all time.
It is. Not that it doesn't have the critical recognition, because it does.
Yeah. But he would always talk about Gladiator.
Dude, I swear. But honestly, I don't know what to believe from him anymore, because he's always like, he'll hear like a good movie that you're talking about. He's like, oh, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, doesn't matter what the fuck you're talking about. He will say it's one of his favorites.
But it is a great movie. Amazing score. Hans Zimmer, baby. Hans Zimmer.
Never misses.
Next, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Told you we hit you again with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, man. Not even a comedic role yet.
No. I did have this as my number one Jim Carrey movie, but would I have this or Truman Show?
I had Truman, I believe.
I think I had Eternal Sunshine, but I go back and forth between those two.
I put Truman. I love the concept of that movie.
I mean, what a concept Eternal Sunshine is too.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But again, I think I do like Truman a little more.
Okay. Eternal, yeah. I can understand that, but Jim Carrey, man, amazing actor.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, if you are going through some breakup troubles or, you know, like just like relationship stuff in general, this shit will fucking hurt you. It will hurt you.
Yeah, don't watch this if you're going through that.
Oh my God.
Next up, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I think yours too, if I'm not mistaken.
It's up there.
John Carpenter classic once again, The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh my God, what a fucking movie this is.
Doesn't hurt that as far as it being up there in my favorite horror movies, doesn't hurt that I have Keith David's signature on the 4K movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Two of some of our favorite actors between Keith David and Kurt Russell.
My God.
We've realized recently that Kurt Russell is like possibly one of our top 3 favorite actors of all time.
Just such a charismatic.
And we're not saying he's like the top 3 best of all time, but just one of our favorites.
Yeah. Like I'm just glued to the screen every time he's talking. I love his voice.
Yeah.
His voice just commands my attention. I love it.
And you got him and Keith David in the side by side. It's like
It's so good.
it's perfect. And oh my god, the theme song is so fucking good.
All right, next we have Blake's favorite in recent years, Dune Part 1 and 2.
Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. Man, Dune Part 2 is the movie I've seen most in theaters. I saw it 4 times in IMAX.
You're insane.
Yeah, saw it 4 times. I am definitely more recent on the Dune train, on the Dune bandwagon, but I'm all in. Like, I am all in. When I sat down and saw Dune Part 1, I was so glued to the world building that they create in these movies. I've loved what Denis has done with this world. I loved Oscar Isaac in the first movie. I wasn't even a big fan of Timothée Chalamet, bro. But these movies.
Why do you say his name like that? Timothée Chalamet. Not Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet, bro.
Timothée Chalamet.
But now I'm a huge fan of his.
I know. I wasn't the biggest fan either. And actually Dune is what got me into watching more of his filmography. Okay. And man's
he's got talent.
He's got some talent.
And for how young he has worked with a fucking hella lot of good directors.
Yeah, he has. I think he's chosen his movies very wisely.
Between
and which I think is why his filmography looks a lot better than Tom Holland's, because I feel like people compare
100%.
I feel like people compare those two a lot.
Yeah, no, his filmography is 10 times better.
And this is his Spider-Man. Now.
Yeah. So his filmography is 10 times better. And I just absolutely love these Dune movies. Seeing these movies in IMAX again is just a whole experience in itself. And I am all in. I can't wait for Dune Messiah.
All right, next up we got another Blake film. More so Blake film.
I'd say more so me. Goodfellas, baby.
Yep.
Another Scorsese classic. This is my number 1 Scorsese film.
Number 1, all right.
Number 1 Scorsese film. Oh, I go back and forth between that and The Departed.
The Departed.
But I absolutely love Goodfellas. I saw this one at a young age too. This was one of my first Scorsese. And yeah, the performances all around with Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro. It's just an all-around amazing gangster film.
So good. And speaking of gangster films, next up we do have The Departed as well. Oh my God, I fucking adore this movie. I love this movie so much. I could watch this thing on repeat all the time. Like, it seriously is up there. And I feel like I don't talk about it enough because it is that good.
Well, because I feel like people don't really talk about The Departed.
No.
I think this is this is easily one of my favorite Leo DiCaprio performances.
Mm-hmm. And again, stacked cast. You got Leo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg. He plays a role in it. Jack Nicholson. Yep. And
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, yeah.
Alec Baldwin. Controversy.
No, it got dismissed. He's good.
Yeah. But yeah, amazing film. Amazing film. What a story.
It is such a good story.
And the ending will fuck you up.
The ending does fuck you up. It's not the ending you want, but it's the ending you need.
God. Next 2 movies we got on here are some Marvel movies, some MCU classics.
Yep.
Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we didn't include too many movies from the MCU because when it really boils down to like our favorite movies, as we do love the MCU 100%. But I think these 2 definitely stick out the most because they
were phenomenal.
I was about to say, because not only were these movies, but these were events.
Yeah.
Seeing these movies in theaters
and having that theater experience and everything, it was different.
It was.
Unlike this was our Star Wars to people who watched that back in the day.
And this is something that no one had ever seen before, a culmination of how many movies at the time? It was like 19, 20?
23 total, I believe.
Maybe 23 total. Yeah, and like a decade worth of movies.
Yeah.
Culminating to this event. I mean, yeah, it's just something that no one had seen before, and it did live up to the hype.
It really did. Like, oh my God, if they messed up these movies, that would have been the hardest dropped ball of all time.
But they didn't drop the ball.
They did not.
Next, the original
Planet of the Apes.
I think this is one of the more unexpected movies on this list.
Agreed.
Because this was more of a recent watch for us.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we both know the twist ending for this movie, I don't think it mattered.
It got me.
Yeah.
It still got me. Because like the entire time they were like, they just kept saying alien planet, alien planet, alien planet. Like they ingrained it in my brain. I was like, oh, okay. I thought this took place on Earth, but I guess it doesn't. And, you know, here comes the very end and we see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy
And I knew
fuck.
that's how it was going to end too, but I think the buildup in this movie is so fantastic that there is still a huge payoff in the end.
Yeah.
And that build-off does have to do with like our main character can't speak for like almost half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when he finally does talk, it pulls a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
And great score as well. Great score. What a concept.
Very
I mean,
good.
again, what a concept for a sci-fi movie this was.
It's
Based off of a book, but
such
like,
a psychological thriller.
Right.
Like I absolutely loved it. And, you know, I didn't really know what to expect, especially compared to the Planet of the Apes movies that we have now. Obviously, very different kinds of films.
Very different. And for its time too, 1968, amazing makeup and practical effects for this. The makeup in this was outstanding. We've gone through 2 lists now. We're going just through our list that we wrote out on in my notebook. So yeah,
We're trying here. We're trying here.
But speaking of Planet of the Apes, what's next?
We have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So this is
You really like this one.
this is my favorite of all of the Planet of the Apes movies.
My favorite was the original one, but
Yeah.
Dawn of was second for me.
Dawn is really good. You know, obviously, like we just said, very different movie, but you know, the portrayal of Koba, getting to see Caesar's leadership and everything, and their interactions with the humans. I just thought this was a simple story, well told, honestly.
Yeah, because we did talk about that on our Planet of the Apes review and ranking. Is like, yeah, all the humans wanted was power.
All they wanted was power. It was in the apes territory, so obviously that's going to be a conflict because apes obviously do not trust humans in this world because all they want to do is kill them because they think they're too smart.
But you give us a great antagonist like Koba, and that story can carry a lot more than what it actually is. Man, Koba was a great villain.
Koba was so good, man. And even with their simple dialogue, it just carried so much weight.
Seeing
Hit ape, not kill ape.
Koba weaker.
Yeah, love it. And did you notice he looks at the gun when he says that?
Yeah. Next up, Green Mile.
All right, there's another one for me. I feel like a lot of people talk about Green Mile when it comes to classic movies. Dude, am I a sucker for Tom Hanks? It's starting to feel like that's what it is.
Maybe.
Because this is another Tom Hanks. I mean, he just does have a lot. He does have a great filmography.
He does. That was definitely like, you talk about 90s and early 2000s, it was like Tom Hanks everything.
For real. Tom Hanks, Michael Duncan, R.I.P. Loved his performance in this. Also, it's interesting to me, like, so I'm not a religious person at all, but for some reason, like the whole angel and, you know, like miracles, I don't know why, when it comes to movies and TV, always gets my attention.
Really?
I find it so interesting. The whole concept of like heaven and hell. I don't know why. And like demons and angels. I just love it. I don't get it.
I mean, it makes for an interesting story.
It really does.
Like in I don't think you have to be religious to have that kind of stuff just make you stop and wonder sometimes. Like I feel like religion could be a touchy subject, but and especially, you know, with, you know, theories and stuff, not so much conspiracy theories, but theories in general. And I feel like that's what people don't do enough is just stop and ask yourself, like, why not? Or ponder the question of this certain existence or this certain theory or story. Cause it's like, why go throughout life without questioning things? You know what I mean? It makes for a little more interesting life, in my opinion.
I do. So I also want to add that Percy is just a great, despicable villain in this movie. God, I don't think anybody watched this and didn't want to punch him right in the teeth. All right, Blake, you are up on this one.
Ooh, remember the Titans, baby. So this is where my football side of me is going to come out, as that is the sport that I grew up played all the way up until college. And I mean, you talk about football movies between your teammates, like this was the go-to football movie. Denzel Washington, amazing performance, a Disney movie actually, and
a great civil rights movie as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, for like a Disney kids movie, there's definitely a deeper message within there.
Touched on some serious subjects,
right? And not only like with what was going on with the civil rights movements, but with your teammates as well, and that teammate bond that grows in this movie.
And obviously, you had another factor here that was, you know,
keeping them apart.
Yeah, keeping them apart, which you cannot have on a football team.
No.
So, like, what better way to get the these two groups of people that have never cooperated to work together.
Just a great team building movie.
It is
what it is. And Ryan Gosling was a liability at cornerback.
Yes, he was.
But yeah, this is my favorite football movie.
All right, next up we have Hacksaw Ridge. Blake has not seen this one.
I have not.
It's amazing to me that you haven't, because I absolutely adore Andrew Garfield's performance in this. Amazing story about how a man wants to serve in the military, but he is a pacifist and refuses to carry a gun. Will not do it. It's against his moral code, against his religion, I believe, actually. And, you know, he's going through the whole training process, and the entire time he just refuses to pick up a rifle, which is not, obviously the U.S. military is not happy with it.
Right.
So they try to forcefully kick him out. They're like, you need a rifle. We're not going to send you to war without a rifle. But all he wanted to do was go be on the front lines and be a medic. He's like, I don't have to kill anybody. Just let me go and save lives while everybody else is, you know, taking them. And, you know, eventually there was a whole court case about it. He got to go, and man, ended up saving more lives than anybody thought possible. Absolutely incredible story. Dude, they had to reduce the number of lives this guy saved so it sounded more believable in the movie.
Holy shit.
Amazing story. Dude, I'm telling you, you should 100% watch it.
Andrew Garfield's a fantastic actor, man.
And like, if you talk about God being on somebody's side, he was on that man's side.
True that. Next up, Logan.
The best X-Men movie.
The what was end to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. As we know, that's changing now that Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out.
I know.
But man, at the time though, everyone thought this was the end of Wolverine, and what a heartbreaking ending this was. Like a fulfilling one, but also heartbreaking at the same time.
Never thought we were getting them again.
No, I know. And this is the first time we got to see rated R Wolverine,
which is what everybody wanted, bro. Oh my God. How do you have Wolverine and not have him in a rated R movie? My God, those adamantium claws.
Yeah.
Good Lord. But not to mention just some heartbreaking moments in this movie as well, with his daughter, so to speak.
Yeah. And it had that Western feel to it as well, which you've learned that me and Garrett are suckers for some Western feels, Western vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a fantastic, what was closure to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I don't know. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine's going to like dilute that?
It could a little bit, but I mean, it's still an amazing movie.
Yeah. The next two, we have Pirates of the Caribbean 1, Curse of the Black Pearl, and 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest being me and Blake's favorite of the Pirates franchise. But, you know, there is something special about that original as well.
There is.
Especially with this movie being based off of a Disneyland ride.
Yeah, a Disneyland ride, an original Disneyland ride from the when it opened up in 1955, 56.
Nobody thought that shit was working.
No.
Nobody thought that was
going to go well. There was so much
going
against a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and it turned it into a multi-billion-dollar franchise
and created a character so iconic that he became the main focus of this entire franchise.
Yes. I mean, one of the greatest casting choices of all time with Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow.
So perfect.
He plays that character so well. And yeah, talking about Dead Man's Chest, some of the best CGI we've ever seen in a movie with Davy Jones. And
his performance just amazing as well.
The Kraken. We get Hans Zimmer scoring for the second one.
Oh my God, yes, the score. The score of both of these movies just totally sets it apart from anything else. You hear that music, you know what time it is. It is time for Pirates of the Caribbean, baby.
And it's just such a summertime vibe, bro.
It really is.
Like, fucking make some pina coladas, put your feet on the couch, open the window, get some summer breeze going, and put this movie on.
Get an extra dash of rum in that pina colada.
Little rum floater, baby. Next up, this is definitely a me movie.
Literally on your shirt.
Oh yeah, it is on my shirt. OG Scream. 1996, Wes Craven, another movie that really got me into the horror franchise. Like I said, I started with slashers. That was how I was able to like dip my feet into the horror genre. And then it just opened my mind up to more horror. And Scream is just one that has stayed at the top for me ever since I first watched it. Love Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. I think my favorite final girl, even more so than Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. As you know, we're looking in the studio right now, my picture with her from MegaCon. But I fucking love this franchise. And I think it's the most consistent horror franchise.
Next, we have Top Gun. Now, while Top Gun may not be the most critically acclaimed movie, I think this one just holds a special place in our heart.
It does. It really does.
And definitely one of a favorite of our dads as well. I feel like he showed
was in the military.
Yep, he was in the military. He showed us this movie, a classic performance from Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is one of the movies that definitely put his name on the map for sure.
Because we were debating if we want to put either Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick. And while we do love Top Gun Maverick, I do think Top Gun just holds more of a special place in our heart. And like we said with Back to the Future, when we think about 80s movies, like Top Gun just sits right there with us as well. It's just such a vibe, bro.
It is a vibe.
It's just such a vibe.
And there's no beating the original, man.
I mean...
I think as far as Top Gun Maverick, as far as vibes, straight vibes, I'm going to the original for the vibes.
Bro, it's so good. And not to mention, people always forget to bring up the soundtrack, bro. The soundtrack is
so good.
Diamond selling soundtrack with Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins, baby.
Danger Zone? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, most people don't even know it's from Top Gun.
Are you kidding me?
These days, at least.
Next,
American Psycho.
Ooh, American Psycho. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's performance as Patrick Bateman. I mean, I was Patrick Bateman for Halloween.
He was, and he pulled it off. He was a really good.
Yeah, we do like a little runway type of deal every time.
We do a runway show.
We do a runway show, and I did the scene where he killed Alan.
But yeah, this is an iconic horror movie as well.
So good.
More so now than I think when it originally came out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like in the last 5 to 10 years, this is really garnished almost like a cult following.
It definitely has.
Because it doesn't have the greatest critical reception.
No.
Funny enough, the first time I watched American Psycho was for a psychology paper my freshman year of college.
Interesting.
Yeah. And about like split personality disorder. Next up,
Catch Me If You Can.
Another Spielberg.
Another Tom Hanks.
Another Leo DiCaprio.
Man.
Those two worked really well on screen together.
Mm-hmm. Lot of chemistry.
And is this a Christmas movie?
Yes.
I think so.
The whole thing surrounded around Christmas, man. Every Christmas, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. I think there's like 3 times when they're talking to each other on Christmas. I think this is one of those Spielberg movies that is just like a feel-good movie. Mm-hmm. That has a great ending, a great satisfying ending. Very cheery music from John Williams.
The fact that it's based on a true story is also intriguing as well.
Very interesting. One of the earlier roles for Amy Adams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken. 2 little mice.
fell in a bucket of butter or jar.
Bucket of cream.
And a bucket of cream. And they struggled so hard that he turned that cream into butter and he walked out.
All right, we'll end it with that. Next up, OG Spider-Man. We do like the original Spider-Man 1 better than the Spider-Man 2.
I think
better than Spider-Man 2.
I think largely in part to Green Goblin and Willem Dafoe's performance.
Oh my God, he was so good. That's my favorite Spider-Man villain when we talk about the live action movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think Green Goblin is the better villain than Doc Ock. I do.
He really is. He is.
Let's be real.
Willem Dafoe's acting is undeniable, man.
Let's be real.
Like, and dude, oh my God, I wish they gave him like more of a goblin face like we saw in the behind the scenes stuff, like when they were fiddling with that.
Right. But I don't mind the face that we got.
No, I don't either. Like, I'm like, the armored look is cool.
Sick.
It is cool.
And we are having someone make us that mask, which is going to be fucking sick.
Yes,
I saw a picture of it.
Oh my God. He's already working on it. It looks fucking amazing.
It looks so cool. And I can't wait to put it up in the studio.
But I don't know. I just wish we could have seen his face more. You know, when he gave those performances.
Because Willem Dafoe can give incredible facial expressions.
Yes, he can.
But what an origin story. Really was, because I know the X-Men movies and the Blade movies, you know, they walked, but then the Spider-Man movies really made those other superhero movies run. Mm-hmm. They really did.
Definitely put superhero movies on the map more.
Next, another Jim Carrey.
Dumb and Dumber. His first comedic role that we have on here. First and only, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
But Dumb and Dumber, undeniable comedy movie.
This is our favorite comedic movie of his, for sure.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Dude, we quote it so much. Is
it the most quotable comedy ever?
Very possible.
It's very possible. It's up in there. It's up there between that and like Anchorman, or I think I would go Dumb and Dumber though. And Jeff Daniels, he was a dramatic actor,
not known for his comedic roles, but damn, did he kill it?
And I didn't know that at the time, so I assumed he was a comedic actor.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
no, same. This was my only experience with Jeff Daniels, and I was like, oh, another comedian.
Yeah,
nope.
Yeah, amazing movie. Next, I think this is our first David Fincher. Yeah, Social Network. This is my favorite David Fincher movie. Jesse Eisenberg, which I'm not like a huge fan of his.
I'm not either.
But he played an amazing Mark Zuckerberg. Andrew Garfield, as great as this.
Dude, we have a decent amount of Andrew Garfield in here.
We do.
Mark? What? Mark?
He's plugged in.
He's wired in.
He's wired in.
Oh, is he? How about now? He's still wired in?
Sorry, I forgot my product the cleaners along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops.
You pretentious douchebag. Security's coming. You'll be leaving now. Oh my God, bro. Nobody wanted to punch him more. Oh my God. I wanted to punch him so bad.
Such a great movie. Great biopic.
Yep.
Next. Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. Dude, I almost forgot to write this down.
Oh my God.
Almost forgot to write it down.
If you want a movie that's going to make you want to...
This is another one that tugs at the heartstring. Man, it's going to make you cry.
This is my favorite Robin Williams performance, R.I.P. I love his dramatic performances. I really do. More so than his comedic performances.
I enjoy him more than his comedic as well.
I agree. I think him and Matt Damon on screen together was just amazing. And like so many great scenes where it's just isolated on them, straight dialogue.
Dude, that whole monologue on the bench.
Yes.
Amazing.
So good.
Amazing.
And what a great ending too.
It's
this movie.
So satisfying.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Son of a bitch stole my line.
Fucking love Good Will Hunting. Next two, these are definitely some of my personal favorites. My favorite comedy movies of all time. Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 2. I told y'all earlier, Chris Tucker is one of my favorite comedic actors of all time.
Yeah, I'll let you take over on these ones.
Man, I could talk about these movies for hours. Like when you put Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan on the screen together, I think the best chemistry we've ever seen in a comedy movie. And you know, even though they are comedic movies, I think people sometimes sell them short because you have some amazing fight choreography in these movies because of Jackie Chan and his fight choreography team. And like in Rush Hour 2, that fight on the scaffolding tower, on the scaffolding building in Hong Kong, like they're really amazing and they do still hold up to this time. I think Rush Hour 2 is even funnier than Rush Hour 1. I prefer the second one more. I just fucking love these movies so much. And I think these are the most rewatchable comedy movies of all time.
All right. You heard it here, folks.
Next up, great coming of age movie.
Superbad. I love me some Superbad, man.
Superbad's fantastic.
Jonah Hill, again, on the list.
Yeah. Jonah Hill.
He's also in Django, too.
And Wolf of Wall Street. Michael Cera. Seth Rogen. Bill Hader. Emma Stone. Emma Stone on the list once again.
Dude, I think we're realizing some people as we're going through this, like some familiar names.
Now, this is such a hilarious movie, and even though it like didn't reinvent the wheel of a high school coming of age movie, people didn't really see a movie like this. Like it was a very grotesque high school comedy movie. You know what I mean? And that's what Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow were bringing to the table in the 2000s was just like very grotesque comedy movies that people weren't used to.
Yeah.
And I love the buddy cop duo of Seth Rogen and Bill Hader.
They're great.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Oh, and come on. Fogel.
McLovin. Man, I'll tell you what, that is one of the most iconic names in all of cinema.
Yeah.
There was a time when the name McLovin was floating around everywhere. Everywhere, bro. What a name that was.
Everybody knows the name McLovin.
Next up, this is another personal Blake favorite here. Suspiria, 1977 Italian horror movie directed by Dario Argento. And I actually watched this movie in college for film school. And yeah, we did watch a lot of movies in film school. And, you know, sometimes, they were older movies a lot of the times. And sometimes I just needed a good nap. And that's what I was expecting to do during this screening of Suspiria. But as soon as that opening scene started with the music, which is one of my favorite film scores of all time, I was locked in. I absolutely love the production designs of Dario Argento movies. The lighting and everything, cinematography. Like, I just love me a Dario Argento movie, and this opened up my mind to the horror genre even more and made me fall in love with the horror genre more. To the giallo genre, which is the Italian genre of horror. That's like murder mystery, sexploitation, slasher, and sometimes supernatural elements, which is, Suspiria because it has to do with witchcraft. But I fucking love Suspiria. That again is one of those movies that's in my top 10, top 5 movies of all time. It's on my Letterboxd top 4 favorite. So I couldn't recommend Suspiria enough. And it's just a movie that has grown my love for the horror genre so much.
Haven't seen it.
Next
is Moonlight.
This is my number one A24 movie.
It's up there for me.
This is my number one A24.
But not number one.
And it's funny because I feel like you can't talk about La La Land without bringing up Moonlight now because of that whole Oscar debacle.
Oh,
remember?
No.
What? That was like when I was really getting into the Oscars.
Yeah.
And they called La La Land up for Best Picture.
Yeah.
But they had the previous card. There was an old guy. He had the previous card. He had the card from the previous award. So La La Land, all the cast comes up to accept the award, and they come running out. A crew member comes running out, and they're like, "This is a mistake. Moonlight, you actually won." And everyone's like, not moving, like, "What the fuck?" And the direct, like the crew and director of La La Land's like, "No, seriously, you guys won. Come up here." It was insane.
Oh, that's cruel.
It was insane. One of the most amazing Oscar moments ever.
That's so cruel.
But no, it was a fantastic movie.
It is really good. I love the 3 stages of the storytelling that they do in this movie. I think it works really well, and just definitely getting to see like how these feelings of like being closeted can develop over the years,
especially in the environment that you didn't typically see in a film, being in early, like, what was it, 80s Miami, growing up through that time, 80s 90s, but yeah,
where like you only got respect for being like the hardest motherfucker, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't a gay story that you typically saw. And I just really appreciated the great storytelling in it, the cinematography, the lighting.
Cinematography and lighting were amazing.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And just amazing performances overall. Next, another Jim Carrey.
Oh shit, I kind of forgot about this. This is comedic too.
The Grinch.
Actually, yeah, The Grinch.
We were talking about it a little earlier.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good.
He's so good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when y'all talk about the best actors of all time, you got to include Jim Carrey because no one else can do that performance.
Nobody could have pulled it off.
No one.
Absolutely nobody. So many improvised moments that we would not have gotten without Jim Carrey.
I think this is a top 2 Christmas movie for us.
It is.
But what's next on our list is our number 1 Christmas movie.
A Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. One that we've come to hear that
not popular at all.
People don't like.
Nope.
People don't like it.
Don't get it.
I think it has great narration, which narration can be tricky. It has great narration, and it's a very simple story.
I think part of it is a culture thing. Because like, we did grow up in the suburbs, that kind of thing. Now, I wouldn't say it's like as suburban as what we see in this movie, but I mean, if that wasn't your environment growing up, you're not going to connect to any of this.
This took place in 1950s Midwest. What are you talking about? It's not like we could easily relate to this.
I get it.
Took place in Midwest.
I know. It's not
Midwest,
even
Illinois, bro.
I know. I don't know, man.
Or Indiana.
I guess
Indiana.
I guess I'm trying to come up with reasonings as to why people don't love this movie, because we love it, and whenever I bring it up to somebody, they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Well, I think we also relate to it in the way that the mom in this movie is literally our mom.
The mom is our mom.
Yeah. So I think it definitely is like a relatable movie to us.
And the dad is just hilarious.
He's so funny. One of the best dads in the film. Next. Oh, yeah.
All you.
Scarface, man.
Yeah.
Scarface. The only Brian De Palma film on this list. I think if this was just a me list, there might be a few more Brian De Palma, but surprisingly enough, I watched this movie so much in high school.
You did?
I did.
You were in a huge Scarface phase.
Yeah, I was. Al Pacino, Tony Montana, say hello to my little friend. Bro, I talked about that shit all the time.
Classic line.
Yeah.
They say that line in another movie we got on here.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you when we get there.
But yeah, absolutely love Scarface. Next, haven't had an animated movie in a while. Tarzan.
Yeah, we strayed away from our animated movies for a little bit there, but
This is one of the most slept on Disney films, in my opinion. Like we talk about the Disney Renaissance era.
I'd say this was definitely a part of it.
I think Tarzan gets looked over a little bit too much. Fire soundtrack.
Honestly, I think that is what put it on this list for me was that soundtrack.
Phil Collins, bro, just didn't have to go that hard.
It really didn't. Didn't have to go that hard with Brother Bear either, but
no.
Man decided to.
Tarzan's fantastic. Next, I'll let you handle this one.
Hell yeah, man. Straight out of Compton.
Great biopic.
Honestly, I think this is one of my favorite biopics.
I wouldn't doubt it. Probably is for you.
I'd say it's one of my favorite biopics just because of what they're telling the story about.
Yeah.
And, me personally, like I grew up loving Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, just like all these people that I'm getting to see in this movie and basically just their origin story and how their careers came to be. And I just found it so educational and so heartfelt as well. Like I love the performances we got out of this. Like I truly felt the connection between all these portrayals of these famous rappers throughout the years and the betrayal too.
Yeah.
With the whole rap beef and everything that went on, it's just...
Oh man, and great performance by Paul Giamatti as well.
Yeah.
As the antagonist in this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. As what was his name? Jerry Heller?
Jerry Heller.
Yeah. But no, because I think we really enjoyed this because our favorite genre of music is hip hop, and that's something that we listened to all the time when this movie came out. And I feel like we were really into learning about the history of hip hop.
I think especially West Coast too.
Yeah, no, especially West Coast.
I think we just like West Coast style rap better.
We did. Like we loved Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Doggy Style, 2001. And it was just really interesting to learn about, NWA and the West Coast rap and
how these guys literally did come from nothing.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, there were great performances in it. It is one of the better biopics, in my opinion.
And bro, like when he found out that he had AIDS.
Oh my God,
dude, that scene was heart-wrenching.
Yeah. Next on this list, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. I'll let you take the reins on this one.
I mean, it's hard to. You're not really gonna find a movie like Tropic Thunder again.
It'll never be made again. Never be made again.
You could try.
You could try, but it ain't gonna go well.
You know what's crazy too? Robert Downey Jr. was nominated. He has an Oscar nomination for this movie. Isn't that wild?
I love when he got interviewed and they were asking him like what his friends thought of this. He's like, dude, 95% of my black friends go, dude, that was awesome. They loved it.
He's just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
It was great.
And a star-studded cast too with Robert Downey Jr., Ben Stiller, Jack Black.
Jay,
that's the name, right? Jay, yeah. Jay. Bill Hader. Danny McBride.
Tom Cruise.
One of the
Matthew McConaughey.
Holy shit.
It just keeps going, man.
It keeps going. And this is one of the greatest roles that an actor broke typecast. Like,
yeah.
No one knew that was Tom Cruise. When this movie came out, I had so many people that told me when they went and saw this film in theaters, they did not know that was Tom Cruise until the credits started rolling. Which is absolutely insane. Like, he absolutely killed that shit. He was hilarious.
He was so funny. I wish he did more comedy after that.
Yeah, this is just a gem of a movie, and the whole, like, the satire of Hollywood actors in this movie, Hollywood in general, is just spectacular comedy.
I'm literally just sitting here giggling about Tom Cruise.
Did I mention Jack Black?
Yeah, you said Jack Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that is our third column down. How many more do we have left to go? I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 23 movies left.
All right. It's not bad.
23 movies left. Bear with us. We got this.
If you made it this far, you can stick around. Come on.
All right. Let's crank through these.
Let's crank it out. We got some comedies. We can go kind of fast through that.
We could.
First up, we got Step Brothers. Classic Will Ferrell.
Yeah, we got a few Will Ferrells lined up for us right here. Step Brothers, definitely classic.
I would say I'm more of a fan of this movie than Blake is. I can quote like just about this entire movie. It's so damn funny. But to be honest, I don't know why they would always play this movie like on repeat whenever we went to the beach. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And we would just always always keep it on.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. They would always play Step Brothers. I don't get it. And so, I learned a lot of the lines just from this thing playing in the background. But what a duo between John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. Got to mention that. And we see it again in Talladega Nights, which is our next movie.
A funnier Will Ferrell movie, in my opinion.
All right.
I think so, man.
You might
it
be
was
right.
damn good. I think I like. You know what it is? I think I love Will Ferrell with a Southern accent.
He is funny with a Southern accent.
He is funny with a Southern
agree.
accent. And like a NASCAR movie, you don't get that often.
No.
Great, and a great antagonist as well with the oh my God, what's his name? Borat.
Yeah.
Um,
It was there for a second.
no, yeah, it was just there.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen, yes. He was fantastic in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
John C. Reilly, baby. What a great film Talladega Nights is. And next is, in our opinion, right, the best Will Ferrell movie?
Yeah.
The Other Guys.
The Other Guys.
The most slept on. I think it's underrated in terms of like Will Ferrell movies.
It is 100% underrated. Unexpected chemistry between him and Mark Wahlberg.
Great duo.
Mm-hmm. Classic buddy cop movie.
Yeah. Actually, we got a few comedies lined up here.
And that was another good movie with some funny narration as well.
Michael Keaton was great in it as well.
Oh my God, I loved Michael Keaton in it.
Michael Keaton is a great comedy actor. He's a great actor overall, but I love when he gives us a comedic role.
Mm-hmm.
Next is a personal favorite horror movie of mine as well. I think it's a top 5 horror movie for me personally, for like one of my personal favorites. We have 1974's Black Christmas. And you know what's funny enough?
What?
This was directed by Bob Clark, who is the same director of A Christmas Story.
That's so funny.
So insane.
That's
he gives
so weird.
us 2 Christmas movies, one a slasher horror movie and the other a cheerful family movie.
That's so
and
weird.
they're both fantastic.
That's so weird.
But I love Black Christmas. I think there are it's actually originally titled Silent Night, Holy Night, but it's a Canadian slasher, which was retitled for the American release of Black Christmas. And there's just so many levels of inspiration from other horror movies from Black Christmas when it comes to the slasher genre. And I think it's a movie that still holds up to this day. Just absolutely love and adore Black Christmas. Next.
My name is Borat.
My name is Borat. Great success.
Great success.
This was another comedy in the 2000s I feel like everyone talked about.
Yeah, and this is also another one that will never get made again. I don't think.
Well, they did make it later down the road.
Okay. Not without its fair share of controversy.
Right. Well, yeah.
Is
for sure.
I guess is what I meant. It's not
Okay.
going to be made without that controversy.
Another quotable movie, like, bro, everyone has
a Borat accent.
Yes.
Everybody has a Borat impression.
Everyone's had their fair share of a Borat impression.
Mm-hmm. When my wife was young, she was good on plow.
Oh my God. There's just so many explicit quotable lines in this one. Next, shockingly enough, our first Adam Sandler movie. Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore. We were conflicted on putting a few more because I feel like Happy Gilmore is such like a comfort zone for us.
He is. But you know, I just think there are more iconic movies out there. I don't know. I feel like his movies are good, but they're not like daring, I guess. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Yeah.
They are very safe.
Yeah. They're very safe comedy movies.
Unless if
very wholesome, you know, family.
Even though Waterboy wasn't daring at the time, you look back at it now, it could be daring.
True.
But I know exactly what you mean. Like, because a lot of his movies, he just gathers up his buddies, takes them to Hawaii, and starts filming a movie.
Which is fine.
Like,
they come out funny, they're good, you know, people enjoy them, and he makes money and he gives his friends a job. Like,
yeah, and his movies are automatic box office success, which is crazy. Like, you don't find that at all in comedy movies these days. Like, you don't see a comedy movie these days that's just an automatic box office success. Tongue twister. But that's what Adam Sandler was when he was making movies. And yeah, they're comfort films for sure. Next, we got a Blake favorite here.
Sounds like we're having a lot more Blake
No, we're
favorites
not.
than Garrett favorites.
We got Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I think it's the most underrated in the Halloween franchise, most overhated. Yes, I know it doesn't have Michael Myers, but I don't care because I absolutely love the concept of this movie. I love the music in this movie. It was the last Halloween movie filmed in a 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio. It just had that John Carpenter feel to it, man.
Yeah, That part's really important.
Shut the fuck up, it is. It just has that John Carpenter feel. It wasn't directed by John Carpenter, but he was a producer. He was there throughout the whole process, making the music. So you definitely feel that John Carpenter touch to it. And And it's a great concept. I love this concept, and I loved that they were daring and tried to turn this into an anthology series.
Oh, look at that. The next one, another Blake favorite.
Don't tell me you don't love National Treasure 2, bro.
Oh, wait, what? Dude, are you blind?
Oh, maybe.
You skipped like 5.
Oh, I did skip 5.
My God.
Okay, the next movie is The Witch.
Yeah.
Love this
That's
movie.
a Blake favorite.
That's a Blake favorite.
Jesus, I'm reading upside down and I'm
You're
reading
right,
this better than you.
Yes, I do love Robert Eggers. I love Anya Taylor-Joy. Ralph Ineson too. God, what a voice that guy has.
Dude, I had to put captions on.
Really?
I had to.
For the accent?
Yes.
But his voice is insane.
Well, his voice is, it was the voice, the accent, and the way they speak.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, this is not normal English. I got to, because I feel like I was going to mishear something.
This is just a chef kiss of a film. Next, this is a Garrett favorite.
Oh, yeah, this is a Garrett favorite. We got Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
So this is my second favorite Marvel film, actually. I think I have this over Endgame.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I had
I think
Infinity
you do.
War, Winter Soldier, and then Endgame, I believe.
Yeah, I think you do.
Winter Soldier is probably it is the best solo movie in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much. Winter Soldier was such a great villain in this.
He was.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be Bucky Barnes when I first watched it. I don't believe I knew that was going to be Bucky Barnes.
Once you found out, man.
Yeah, once I found out, that shit was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really didn't know the comics in like the earlier years of Marvel, and I didn't really know too much about the history. So I really was enjoying seeing these movies unfold for the first time, not knowing what was going to happen. So yeah, I did not know that was Bucky. And it was just so incredible to see that reveal. Also, the music is just incredible.
It is.
Love his theme.
Amazing fight choreography. Jesus. I mean, some of the best fight choreography in the MCU by far.
Mm-hmm.
Next, yeah, you can't deny that National Treasure 2 is a childhood classic for us. We watched that movie all the time as kids. I love it.
No, I love it too.
Great Nick Cage performance. Then he nailed it with National Treasure 2.
I just showed him that clip from American Dad.
Hey, he did kill it with National Treasure though. Next up, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Another one.
Oh, so I can't say Bloody Mary 3 times, but you can say that.
No, because the other one is a lot more scary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
so what if I say Candyman 5 times?
No. That's scary too. Michael Keaton, fantastic.
Again,
I do
comedic role from Michael Keaton.
And I am a Tim Burton fan. I know there's a lot of people that don't really like Tim Burton, but I do really enjoy Tim Burton and his German expressionism with his production design and all that. And music's good. And again, a movie that we were shown pretty young age, because I remember I think I was in Michigan. We were in Michigan for the first time we saw this movie, and Aunt Nancy was like, "Don't say it 3 times. Don't say it." And then she was standing behind us, Beetlejuice. You know how Aunt Nancy is like.
Dude, she's literally our mother. It's so so scary how similar they are.
Next up, had to include this. Again, not directed by Tim Burton, but created by characters of Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare Before Christmas, baby.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite.
Oh, look at that. Another Blake favorite.
Yeah.
That's interesting how we're getting towards the end of this list.
I had to, bro. Mm-hmm. This is my favorite Disney movie. Well, at least my favorite animated Disney movie, even though they didn't release it under Disney Animation. They released it under Touchstone because they feared it would be too scary for kids. And yeah, Claymation. I absolutely love the soundtrack. It's a Halloween. It's a Christmas movie. This is literally right up my fucking alley. And I can listen to the soundtrack all day. Next. Well, look at that. Hateful Eight. I love this movie too.
Yeah, don't act like that's not for both of us.
All right. Amazing Tarantino. Underrated Tarantino.
Underrated Tarantino. Mystery Western, which is not a very common thing to see, especially these days.
Yeah.
Stacked cast: Walton Goggins, Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell,
Michael Madsen, Tim Roth. Great cast.
Great cast, great story. It's a bottle movie, which I feel is very hard to pull off, but at no point was I ever wanting to look away from the screen. I love that movie.
Okay, so we had to include an Austin Powers movie because that is a childhood movie for us for sure. But our favorite one is Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Introduction to Fat Bastard.
Yep, Mini-Me as well. I think overall this just had the best characters. Like this was the introduction to the most iconic characters.
Yes. Austin Powers, the original, it was good, but they really got the ball rolling for the second one.
I agree. Next, 40 Year Old Virgin.
It's first Steve Carell. Starred movie.
Not the first Judd Apatow production movie though.
No.
Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
You get a cameo from Kevin Hart in
you
here as well.
You do get a Kevin Hart cameo.
Jane Lynch, as the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this again was like that new age of comedy that Judd Apatow was bringing to it, was just like that, grotesque, really explicit comedy.
It's hilarious though.
It is. All right, we got 8 movies left.
We're almost there.
Almost there. Next movie on this list is Will Ferrell's Anchorman.
Now, I would say this is definitely one of his most quotable and most iconic roles.
I say this is
that he's had in his career.
I say this is most iconic.
Yeah.
Man, the crew together, the chemistry with Paul Rudd,
so good.
Steve Carell, Will Ferrell. I always forget Champ's name,
I know,
bro.
I always forget his name too.
I always forget his
Todd Packer in The Office.
Todd Packer.
I cannot remember his name. I never can, but I'm not gonna look it up. Whatever. But yeah, their chemistry was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the rise of Veronica Corningstone, and the downfall of Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, it's just such a stupid plot.
It's so stupid,
but it also has.
But it's actually like a real plot, though.
Right.
Like the rising up of women in the workforce, and it was like a very real story, just told in a very stupid way.
Right. Because there is like a real message behind it.
There is.
Next, Jack Black. We had to include him. School of Rock.
Hey Ron, I'm riding a furry tractor.
All right. Yeah, no, Steve Carell was great in that movie. But next is School of Rock. Had to include that. We watched this one a lot for sure growing up.
First Jack Black movie on here.
Still have School of Rock on DVD. I still have it on DVD. And I'm going to show my girlfriend that movie because she has not fucking seen it yet.
Oh my God.
Insane, bro.
That's crazy.
Insane.
But I do know this is Jack Black's favorite movie.
Yes.
This is his favorite movie.
Yes, it is.
He loved making it. He loves the message it sends.
Yep.
He loves just the positive message that it sends for, every kid who watches it. It is a great movie.
It really is.
And a very heartwarming movie as well, even though the plot's kind of fucked, but it is a great movie.
Young Miranda Cosgrove.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic movie. And because we included Jack Black, we had to include another childhood favorite of ours.
Nacho Libre.
Hey, Nacho Libre is good, man. I don't know what people talking about. Like, this has terrible ratings.
I know.
It's a good movie.
Dude, I mean, comedies get hated on in general, but...
That's true.
Dude, Nacho Libre, I will never understand the hate. It's so funny.
It really
That's another one that we just quote constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So many quotable moments in that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at my blouse.
A Nickelodeon movie. It was like that era where Jack Black was making Paramount. He was probably under contract with Paramount.
Probably.
So, and that was, but yeah, produced by Nickelodeon as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, here we go. Again,
I didn't even realize that.
We were on the Jack Black train, so Kung Fu Panda. This is not the only DreamWorks on here, but.
Not the only DreamWorks, but this is definitely one of my favorite DreamWorks.
Yeah, for sure.
Tai Lung is one of my favorite villains.
He's a great villain, man.
Honestly, he might be one of my favorite villains, like
ever,
yeah. Because a lot of people have compared his story to Anakin's, and they do have a very similar upbringing, and the reason for their fall. He was raised up to believe that he was supposed to be like the next big hero, basically. And
part of the prophecy.
Yeah, like part of the prophecy, and that he was meant for greatness.
Yeah.
And to have all of that denied to you, especially when you've worked your entire life for it. Yeah, that's not going to settle very well with you.
No.
So
also a villain that has some of the most aura.
Some of the most aura and some of the best lines. Oh my God. And best voice acting.
Yeah. Great voice acting.
That fight between him and Shifu. Oh, beautiful.
When he escaped that prison, what a fucking badass scene that was. He's a badass
dude's
villain.
An animal.
And then you have Jack Black as Poe, the complete opposite.
Yeah, and you just have that total comedic switch around.
It was just such a great yin and yang there.
Mm-hmm.
Next, oh man, I'm so glad. This was one of the movies we thought about at the last minute. Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, needed to be on this list.
Needed to. We watched this a decent amount growing up as well, but I recently rewatched this movie and I hadn't seen it in probably a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, That is the most I laughed out loud in a fucking long time. It is so funny.
Dude, I love when low budget movies like this are just able to capture an audience. Like they're that perfect and that good and that funny that it just takes over the world.
Made on a shoestring budget. I think John, the lead actor, was, I think he was what, paid like $1,000? Yeah. And then he finally was able to negotiate residuals once the movie did so well and like, you know, box office or percentage.
That would have been criminal.
I think it was maybe like DVD residual sales or something.
Yeah, no, that would have been, because obviously the initial release wasn't going to be good.
But it did do good. No, it made like 40 million, bro.
It did?
The box office, it made like 40 million.
Shit.
And then the home video sales were off the charts. So yeah, he was able to negotiate the residuals for that.
Yeah, that would have been actually criminal if he did not get residuals and got paid $1,000 for one of the most iconic roles.
No, it is so funny. Like Uncle Rico, bro. Kip. Are you kidding me, bro?
It's so good.
You think anyone wants to catch a roundhouse to the face while we're these bad boys? I didn't think so. I don't know if I'm quoting it perfect, but
all right, last three.
Next two, part of the X trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of shocked we included these, but as some of my favorite recent movies within the last decade, for sure.
And I like them a lot too.
Yeah, we have X and Pearl.
More so Pearl for me.
Mia Goth has become one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood right now.
Seems like horror is a quick way to your heart with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but Pearl, even without it being a horror, her performance alone is absolutely insane.
100, yeah.
It's insane.
Dude,
she's so talented.
That ending shot gets me every time. It's the creepiest thing ever.
And I know a lot of people don't see the hype with these two movies, but yeah, I mean, horror, it's right up my alley. Like X, I think pays great homage to the slasher genre. And there's a lot of, and then with Pearl, it's like a fucking horror Wizard of Oz movie, which is fantastic.
And we have Wizard of Oz on here too.
And we did have Wizard of Oz on here.
Wizard of Oz, if the behind the scenes made it to screen.
Even though Maxine wasn't my favorite, I think
the first two are still great.
Yeah, no, I think what Ty West has been able to do within this X trilogy, I think is great for the horror genre. And he has definitely cemented his name within the horror genre. And last movie on this list, the 100th movie.
The Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw.
Now,
Another new one.
This is my favorite A24 film, I think.
Yeah.
Zac Efron's performance, I was never expecting a performance like this from Zac Efron.
I know, right?
And I truly hope he gets the recognition he deserves. And this one will go down in like the history books as his best performance.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, Moonlight is my number one A24 movie. But when we went and saw this in theaters together, man, we were crushed.
So fucking sad.
So crushed. Like
just
such
tragedy,
a heartbreaking story.
Just tragedy after tragedy. And what's the saddest part of it is like all of it was so preventable.
Yeah.
Like it was so preventable. Like it just, if this dad wasn't so obsessed on the legacy of his family that he forgot about the well-being of his actual family.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking story.
And my God, like you knew exactly what you were getting into in the beginning too, when he was saying the rankings of his children.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Who says that?
Yeah.
Who says that?
Someone who wants to live vicariously through his sons. Because that's what he was,
that's exactly what he was doing. I know.
His career never took off because
injury or whatever. Yeah.
But he was trying to live vicariously through them. But yeah, Jeremy Allen White in here as well. I mean, yeah, there's some great performances in here overall.
Bro, and that scene where they meet the brothers in heaven?
Yeah,
oh my God.
And of course, that ending scene of him talking to his kids, Zac Efron talking to his kids.
Dude.
Saying how he used to be a brother.
Crushing.
I walked out of that theater bawling my eyes out.
Crushing.
Should have been nominated in there for Best Picture. Well, way to end it on a sad note.
Yeah, but good Lord.
Jesus. All right.
I didn't think we could do it, but that is our 100 favorite movies.
100 favorite movies. And again,
I'm sure this is not a cemented list.
Right.
I'm sure there's some we're forgetting and some that would probably take the place of others if, we really went through it. But
yeah, like if we made our separate own list.
Yes, but this is just 100 of some of our collectively shared favorite movies.
And there's a lot of great movies on there.
There are.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this 100th episode special. It's a long one, but let us know what
it's the 100 episode special, so why not?
This is 2.5 years worth of podcasting right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what your favorite movies are. I'm not expecting y'all to tell us what your 100 favorite movies are, but
if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, but let us know some of your favorite movies. That's some of ours, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Duck Takes. I'm Blake, and that's Garrett.
All right, that was a really weird outro.
That was it? No. How do I do it?
I don't know, man.
Let's try it again.
I'm Garrett. Bye.
See y'all next time on Duck Takes.
Later.